Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to the grind for update 1.87. You may have noticed my in-game name. That's right, I was born in 87, so maybe this is the patch for me. The vehicles at top tier are looking a little bit ridiculous, and I definitely have my eyes on that Japanese top tier jet. Not because I want to get into playing top tier jets at all, but it's just such a beautiful aircraft. I can't wait to make a custom camo for it, fly it around in custom battles, and just generally enjoy the beauty of that thing. So, it's in the Key 200 line, which is one of those aircraft that I had never bothered trying to start researching. So, hooray! It really makes sense that it would be there. I guess I've wasted my time grinding out the sabers, and I waited to buy those because the price on them went down by about 1,000,000 silver lions each, which adds up rather quickly. I'm not behind on lions, but I'm definitely behind on RP, so here we are in the M24, waiting to get into the Sushi Corsair for a little bit of CAS and anti-fighter fighty flying. You shut up. But as always, the Japanese M24 is a lot of fun, so I was having a total blast in here. Unfortunately, my little squeezy boy buddy got too close to the explosives and got artied, but the M24's armor is useful for some things, and a near miss by artillery is no big deal for this guy. Moving around the corner after we've capped, trying to be a little bit cheeky and get some early shots on enemy tanks. The only thing that could kill me is if somebody's sniping from across the river. Well played, American M24. Well played. And now my counterplay. Welcome to the Japanese F4U. The early tier F4U is an incredibly powerful fighter. And I think I have a video called like Japanese Vacation in the F4U, where I talk about what a fantastic fighter it is. Incredible energy retention in the vertical and not bad in a turn if you don't pull too hard on the elevator. Good mobility, especially if you use the flaps. Nice handling at low speeds, again, especially if you use those flaps. It's one of the strongest fighters at 2.7 battle rating and often overlooked. This could easily perform in a 3.3, 3.7, even a 4.0 battle rating. This thing would still have many advantages. Look at the speed we have on the deck and how well we're holding on to that as we zoom low and keep our eyes high for the enemy air spawn. We've spotted a dot. We're going to zoom quickly up to them, opening up with the 50 cals even from long range. Looking at that server jumpiness. Patch day is always pretty crazy when it comes to server connections. I think the Gaijin servers are a bit overloaded, so we get that jumpiness. Makes it difficult to get guns on target, but a few hits and we're already with the advantage on this enemy fighter, and he is not pulling the kinds of defensive maneuvers he's going to need to escape our spray and pray. Already with some good hits and a critical, we have a serious advantage over this guy who didn't see us coming up from below. More hits as the 50s for once fail to take down a target with a few hits, and finally we get a nice convergence and blow his fuselage apart. Very satisfying. Another one of the advantages of the F4U over, say, the Russian aircraft at this battle rating is you have a lot more ammunition in the wings, and with 650 cals blazing, you can put a significant amount of penetration downrange against the top armor of tanks or the pretty much anything of enemy fighters. One need not comment any further on the power of American 50 cals. Once they were adjusted to be more powerful than your average DACA, it was only a matter of time before everyone heard how awesome they are. So now we get to strafe some ground targets on our way back to base, and a nice quick execution on that poor archer. Have you ever seen a more backwards tank? There really wasn't anything he could do about that. Open top and just sayonara to the crew. In a head-on here, we avoid taking critical damage as we skew off to the right, as we tend to do in a head-on with these wing-mounted guns. He just keeps on blowing right past us, letting us loop around on his tail, and then he decides to pull into a vertical. Not the best strategy, but I understand he was against several enemies at once. A few hits that aren't any kind of critical damage, and out comes the flaps as we pull around for a nice tight loop. He's not going to be able to shake us off his tail now. There's really not much that can outfly an F4U if you're at about the same energy, unless it's Japanese. Oh golly, guess which team I'm on. So, we didn't manage to get the guns down in time to finish this guy off. Looks like it's an A36, I think. The attacker that can have the 50 cal gun pods, and then we decide to zoom away instead of turning with him. I think we're out of ammunition. We have done quite a bit of spraying. That's right, I've given the signal that I'm going to go back to base, and so it'll be just a few minutes before I'm back in the battle. This used to be Poland, right? I think it's called like Eastern Europe or something now. Anyway, this map, oddly enough, I've seen some people complaining about it. I guess I'm just so familiar with the map that I kind of enjoy it. I always know where I want to go, depending upon which vehicle I'm using. And it can be a bit difficult to get out of your spawn and get into the action without getting spawn camped, but it's a lot better than it used to be, and this map is actually a fairly good example of a map rework done right. And it makes sense. This is, of course, one of the most popular maps in the game. As we come in for our landing, full landing flaps, being careful not to have too much airspeed when we pop the flaps, because one of the issues with F4U is their flaps are rather fragile. Although, unlike other fighters, as we spiral into a nice landing, look at that beautiful Japanese camouflage. Unlike other fighters, the F4U will rip half of its flaps, and then the other half will actually remain until you go very, very fast over speed. So even if you do rip flaps on the F4U, you still have a little bit something left, and you're not tactically neutered, as it were. The more I fly this plane, the more I enjoy it. It really has great acceleration in the low, mid, and high end. It can go incredibly fast for a 2.7. Great energy retention in the vertical, good guns, lots of ammo. You really couldn't ask for much more, other than another feature you find in this aircraft is it is extremely durable. So this is a rank 2 premium, and it's only good for researching rank 3 and below of the Japanese tree. It's not something I would recommend as a grinder, but we are researching a rank 3 right now. I think it's the key 43, key 61-2, something like that, in the Japanese fighter line, to eventually get to the key 200. And I figured since we're researching a rank 3, might as well pull out one of my favorite premiums in the game, and you've already seen some reasons why. But to break from that topic, here's a BF-110 with an enemy on his tail. We open up at long range, get a few hits. Unfortunately, I don't have any tracer in my belts to scare off that enemy, but the stealth rounds do their work just fine when it comes to dealing damage. Don't worry, fam, I got your back. I think I told him to check 6 earlier because I saw enemy aircraft coming up on him. There were 3 enemy fighters in the sky, now there's 2, as we check our own 6 and see that more enemies are coming toward our BF-110 compatriot. He may have been already damaged. He didn't seem to defend himself very much there. As we get the crit in the head-on against the F6F, we go for another attack run here on the... Oh, I can't remember what that was, but F4U as we snipe him from long range, and then the F6F or F5F goes down. But unfortunately, after that head-on pass with me, he was able to take down our BF-110 buddy. That was enough to research the last rank 3 aircraft we needed to get to the new Japanese jet. So now I'm back to Kika, and that means we're doing that old song and dance again, and I just thought I'd share that with you guys. So this is what I'm going to be doing for probably the next few weeks in War Thunder, playing the Kika in tank RB battles to unlock the new Japanese top tier. And it's nice to have something to aim for. I have about 800,000 RP to grind through, so it'll be a while, but at least I'm not hurting for Silver Lions, and I should be fairly far ahead by the time I'm done. I don't have to pay much in the way of repair cost because Kika just doesn't get shot down all that much if you play it right. And of course, I've said all of this before, so I guess I should just shut up and talk about something else. The Walker Bulldog remains one of my favorite light tanks in the game. It does have some glaring weaknesses in the form of its height and the issues with its APDS, which is its main round. But APDS has been improved, and it faces a lot of things that it can handle. Speaking of, a Panther 2 that's not looking our direction, I'll take it. As we take out Commander Loader, that's not the hit we were hoping for, but he's not even looking at us at the last moment, and we just decide to finish off the 2 crew members in the hull. And that really shows off the nice trajectory of the APDS. It's a high velocity round, very effective at a 6-7 battle rating. Even up into 7-7 battles we can find ourselves in fairly frequently with the popularity of 7-7 premiums right now, and the fact that they have good efficiency for researching the new top tier, which is, I'd say it's exciting, but I'm even less interested in tank top tier than I am in aircraft top tier. My favorite is flying CAS and then going interceptor mode after I've dropped my ordnance in tank battles. And I've been having a lot of fun in American, Japanese, Italian, French, British. All of them have really fun CAS, and I've recently gotten into the Soviet CAS, and there's actually quite a large number of options in that tree. So I'm talking rank 2, rank 3 Soviet CAS planes. Pretty much anything can play the role because those Russian Dushka and Shvak cannons are able to punch through the top armor of many things they face, and because you're on the Soviet team, you don't have that very strong top armor you find on things like the KVs and the T-34s. So you have quite a lot of options there. Speaking of, we're having a pretty good time in the Bulldog, as a little bit of stuttering there. Not sure if that's on the server level or the local level, but again, the servers are having a little bit of stuttering, and I suspect it has to do with the patch dropping today. They're always extra busy, and I'm sure we'll find a long list of bugs that Gaijin is busy fixing by not fixing them. Not to be too pessimistic, but it's almost like when they say they've fixed a bug, it just means that they've noticed it. Anyway, another kill with the Bulldog, and we consider now whether it's best to stay in Bulldoge and go for something epic or just jump out and hop into Kika. And we decide to go for the latter. We have plenty of SP to load up the bomb So Papa Kika is going to take Bomb-chan to school again, and I think you're going to like this attack run. So as I've talked about before, I like to come in from the side of the battlefield. You tend to have less people looking directly at you in that instance, and especially in a jet like the Kika, they only have a few seconds to get guns on you if you're flying a suitable elevation from the battlefield to be able to overwatch the combat area. If you know exactly where an enemy tank is, you can even fly low and give them about a third of a second to aim at you, if that. So we're nosing around for targets, sniffing the wind and seeing what we can find. And just about now, we notice a Coelian. Here we go, very low, tink. Yep, that bomb definitely hit him. And from underneath, an 800-kilo Bomb-chan explodes through the absolutely everything of that Coelian. The mushroom cloud, the post effect of that explosion, all very satisfying. Have I mentioned that I enjoy flying Kika? So we see a slow moving dot on the enemy side, and it's painfully obvious that we're facing German ground forces. Gee, it seems like German 6-7 is really popular right now. Could someone be researching the new top tier? Yeah, let's just not talk about that. Speculative shots, short bursts on the Stuka, and then we close to close range from underneath. There was really nothing he could do, and he didn't try all that many things before every dang thing on his plane went all splody and derp. So when those 30s work, they do some work. Now we're on our way back to the airfield. If we're lucky, we'll be able to make one more trip with Bomb-chan as long as our teams manage to hold the capture zones. It's looking like we're fairly well dominating the enemy team, and that's definitely what I would prefer. I like to see some freshly minted weebs get ground hard into the dust as everyone and their dog is trying to research German top tier, because it looks like they have an instant win button available in the Leo 2A5. Is that what that is? I think that's what it is. Memories of when the Abrams and the other equivalents came out a few patches ago, and it seemed like the Abrams was gimped in every way, and the competition was just going to absolutely artificially outperform it. And then Abrams goes live, and everybody is complaining about how powerful it is, just because there's more than just a stat card that makes a tank effective. And the legendary survivability of the Abrams has been well documented now. So, yeah, tank top tier, it's controversial. It's definitely the most artificially balanced area of War Thunder, and again, it's always going to be that way. The European Canadian talks about this a lot, but it's all classified. And even if you're making an educated guess and using some kind of documentation, it's not going to be primary source documentation. These are not going to be American tests and figures and official numbers. So it's always going to be up in the air. Speaking of, it does take Kika a while to get out of bed when she's hugging that 800-kilogram teddy bear, but we do eventually get off the ground as our grinding of Japanese aircraft is itself getting off the ground. So I've just been having a total blast. We're going to have time to drop one more bomb before this match is over, and as I mentioned, this is what I'm going to be doing in the game of War Thunder for a while now. I have a goal. We'll see if I can stick with it or if I get bored. And then in the near future, I also have an interview scheduled. So that's very exciting. You'll definitely hear more about that. sometime in the next few days, and after that I just want to interview everybody that I can. So if you guys know somebody that has a presence on YouTube, someone interesting I could talk to, go ahead and hit me up on the Discord. And speaking of that, I've been having a great time with all of you guys, honestly, especially my table gamers. So if you're interested in playing tabletop style RPGs with us, I've been leading a D&D 3.5 campaign called Goblins, and that has been a lot of fun. I've killed just about everyone except AC at least once. We had a new guy come play with us, and he made a tactical error and got arrowed pretty aggressively. So, speaking of, hello there, some model of Panther. Goodbye, some model of Panther. That 800 kilo bomb is so satisfying in every single way. So I've been having a lot of fun. And now I have a question for you guys. You can answer me in the chat or come hang out on the Discord with me. I'm around every now and then, although I am kind of busy raising 2 girls and not doing enough house chores. But you can come say hi. How have you been finding the recent patch? I know there's a lot of opportunity for negativity, and I would just say it's never fun to be negative. Try and look at the bright side, but let me know how you're doing and what you're heading for in the game. Are you still playing, or are you taking a break and just watching my videos to keep up on... Well, I mean, I'm not the best person to inform you, so maybe you shouldn't do that. But we got some good rewards, we had a good time, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.